You're listening to Four Things to Know, a WCCO daily news podcast.
Today is Tuesday, May 5th. I'm Maria Lizignoli.
I'm Johnny Connor. Thank you for listening to Four Things to Know.
Our top story today, after a long negotiation period, nearly 170 Chisago County employees are striking. This comes after the union and county both filed for unfair labor practices towards each other. Frankie McLister spent the day outside the government center in Center City. Here's his report from noon.
There's a pretty large turnout out here, about 170 staffers that work in the building behind me. And believe it or not, they're not only outside of the building behind me, but they are across the town here of Center City. Now, they are saying this is over their increasing health insurance premium. Now, they're all represented by Teamsters 320. That's the union that does represent the workers from the government center and health and human services sector. Negotiations started last fall, but those on the picket line say that throughout the process, they keep being told no, and that they're also frustrated that many county staff were consolidated into one building after the health and human services building shut down recently. Now, this staffer we spoke to on the line says he's been with the county for 15 years.
Makes us feel very unrespected. We didn't have choice in a lot of things. We get dealt with our insurance. They're trying to raise our deductibles without bringing any pay to the table or fixing that. We ended up trying to shop our own insurance, being a consumer of our own product.
Yeah, so I'll read you something that the county says to me. They simply said that they respect the right of the employees to engage in lawful strike.
Number 2 today, we know it's been a long year in Minneapolis, and today, Mayor Jacob Frey gave his State of the City address. He said the city has a lot to improve upon, but also said he believes the work can get done. Frey highlighted the tragic Annunciation shooting and the federal immigration operation. He also spoke about trying to fill empty storefronts and the work being done to bring Uptown back, including things like free parking on Friday nights. And finally, he spoke at length about improving public safety and the encouraging signs he sees at the Minneapolis Police Department.
Starting with public safety, because there is nothing more important or fundamental. People need to be safe and they need to feel safe. That requires a comprehensive safety approach, which in turn requires a fully staffed, fully functioning police department that delivers. The good news, and this is new, is we've seen over a 200% increase in applications to become a Minneapolis Police Department officers. That's a signal. People are stepping up. They're answering the call to serve this city. We're currently sitting at 642 officers, up from around 550, and next year we're hoping to reach our charter number of 733, with goals of exceeding that to reach more than 800 before I leave office. And we have the most diverse department we've ever had in our city's history.
And for number 3 today, Johnny, this is a story we've been talking about for months now. The future of HCMC is up in the air, and now we have an update. Today, lawmakers in the House Taxes Committee discussed a bill that would increase the sales tax in Hennepin County by nearly a full percentage point. They're calling it a ballpark tax because it would also modify the capital reserves for the home of the Minnesota Twins. Here's our Esme Murphy.
Another hearing here at the Capitol on saving HCMC, Hennepin Health. And there really doesn't seem to be any kind of agreement at all on how to go forward between Republicans and Democrats. At a hearing this morning, Representative Esther Agjabe, who represents the district where Hennepin County Medical Center actually is located, suggested raising a tax that is now at 0.15, the sales tax, 0.15 to 0.75. That's a portion of the Hennepin County sales tax. Republicans do not seem to be eager for that. And the Representative Kristen Robbins of Maple Grove said there is no appetite amongst Republicans for any kind of a tax increase on the sales tax. She threw out something that I had not heard of before, which was using existing transportation funds to kind of fund the balance to get Hennepin Healthcare actually on solid economic footing. The bottom line, there are all these proposals on the Democratic side that would raise the Hennepin County sales tax. Republicans essentially are saying no to that. And there's less than 2 weeks now in the session, and it's really not clear where that agreement is going to come from, although everyone seems to agree that there does need to be a bailout. It has to happen before the end of session.
Now to your fourth thing to know today. And Maria, this is a pretty wild story.
Yes.
Investigators are looking for whoever's been raining chaos down on drivers north of the Twin Cities. The Chisago County Sheriff says it happened on Interstate 35 in Rush City. That's about an hour north of the Twin Cities.
Like smoke comes into the car, everything. Like everyone's like, what the heck just happened?
Yeah, you just heard from a teenage driver. He says his car has major damage after it was hit by a large rock. The Chisago County Sheriff says deputies found empty oil canisters too, but so far no one has been hurt, thankfully, but several cars have been damaged. Now, obviously, call law enforcement if you know anything, but Maria, could you imagine that when you're driving?
And someone throws something off the overpass above you. I mean, that can be so dangerous. And right now, like we said, officers don't know who's doing it, but it really could cause a lot of damage, like to cars, but also it could cause damage to lives.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, terrible. So again, call police if you know anything, and hopefully, that gets solved.
And this kid, he was driving with another teenager. They were up doing a fishing trip up north, and this happens in the night as they're driving back to the Twin Cities. And they describe this rock as the size of like a watermelon.
Terrifying.
Just terrifying, just horrible. Yeah, hopefully they figure that out.
Those are the four things to know today. Let's check in now on our next weather forecast.
Hi, next weather meteorologist Lisa Meadows. Look at our forecast as we head into tonight. Temps tonight dropping down to the mid-30s, 36, a chilly night in store here in the Twin Cities, back up to 52, still cooler than average coming up here for tomorrow.
And now, here's more to know.
St. Paul police say they've made multiple arrests after 2 people were shot in downtown last night. It happened around 5:30. Police say there were 3 scenes outside the Grand Casino Arena, the River Center, and the Ordway. 2 young men were shot, but were told they will be okay. Police arrested 3 people. They're working right now to figure out what led up to the shooting.
Now to a major leadership shakeup in the wake of Minnesota's fraud crisis. The governor said Shireen Gandhi will no longer head the Department of Human Services. Her confirmation hearing scheduled for today has been canceled. John Connolly, the state's Medicaid director, will now take over the leadership role. Gandhi will stay as a deputy commissioner. That change comes less than a week after federal and state investigators raided 24 childcare and autism centers.
Today, across the nation, people will come together to remember and honor missing and murdered Indigenous relatives in a day of awareness. Here in Minnesota, the Department of Public Safety's MMIR office held a remembrance ceremony. It happened from noon until 2 at the Minneapolis American Indian Center. Since the office was created, over 250 names of missing or murdered Indigenous relatives from across the state have been gathered, and today, those names were read aloud to honor them and hold space for their families.
Concession workers at Target Field say they're ready to go on strike to get better pay and benefits. A vote held last Friday resulted in 81% of the workers approving a strike if necessary. Members of Unite Here Local 17 are in contract negotiations with Delaware North Company. Many say they're not making a fair wage and have to work multiple jobs to make ends meet. This is the first time Target Field workers have taken a strike vote.
All right, Minnesota State Fair. We are just a little over 100 days until the Great Minnesota Get-Together.
So exciting.
So exciting. And we just found out one of the greatest songwriting and production teams in music will be at the Minnesota State Fair this summer. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Had you heard of them?
No.
I hadn't either until I looked them up and listened to some of their music. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have heard these songs before. And if I hadn't actually heard the real song, their music is featured in so many other artists' music.
Wow.
I was blown away. I was like, I know this beat because Drake did it. Or like,
Interesting. As a cover. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, definitely. So they're calling their show Homecoming, a celebration of Minneapolis sound. And the band will play at the Grandstand on Saturday, August 29th. They're bringing some guests, some friend performances, if you will. They include Johnny Gill, Morris Day, and Jerome Benton of The Time, Ann Nesby and Sounds of Blackness, and others. Tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 in the morning.
And I know there's still a couple more dates for grandstand openings, right? They haven't filled the full roster.
Right, but only a couple, so we're almost there.
Almost state fair time. Okay, let's get into sports. What a win last night for the Timberwolves. And I was wrong yesterday, Maria. Anthony Edwards made his return.
He really did, and he came back in a big way.
He came back. He helped the team so much in the fourth quarter. Yeah, the Wolves took a 1-0 series lead over the San Antonio Spurs. Ant had 18 points. Now the teams were locked 45-45 at halftime. But then, like we said, the Wolves took the lead in the fourth quarter. They held it on till the end of the game. Julius Randle also helped out, had 21 points. But did you see the play? The Spurs, they missed a wide open 3-point shot that would have won the game at the buzzer. Right off the rim, Wolves win.
That is amazing for us. Super sucks for them, but amazing for us. And those nail bite endings are just always so fun.
We'll take it. Yeah, they stole game one on the road. Tip off tomorrow night for game 2 is at 8:30. Let's move over to the ice because the Minnesota Wild, they need a win tonight.
They sure do need a win tonight.
Yeah, they trail 1-0 against Colorado in that series. Now, we just found out some news right before recording this, Maria. We talked yesterday about Volstead, how he let in 8 goals. The Avalanche scored 9, but there was an empty netter. So now the Wild today say Philip Gustafsson will make the start tonight, so a change in net.
Okay, so he'll make the start. Volstead could still be in.
Yeah, he could play game 3. I mean, it would not be good if Volstead went in because that would mean they pulled Gustafsson.
True.
He had a bad start.
That's true. Okay.
This is Gustafsson's first start of the playoffs, so it's a big storyline, right? We need better goaltending tonight.
Absolutely. You can't let 8 goals in again. Jeez.
That puck drops 7 o'clock tonight. And last thing in sports today, we got to talk about the Frost because they have a big game too tonight. Now, they will be without Britta Curl-Salemi. We talked yesterday about her suspension.
Yeah, that's right.
So game 2 against the Montreal Victoire. That's a great nickname, by the way.
It is a great name. I love it. The Montreal Victoire.
You're better at it than
French.
me.
I love it.
Yeah, but that's tonight, game 2. Now, the Frost, they picked up the first game of the series, so now they could take a 2-0 lead back to St. Paul. So that'd be great.
Fingers crossed. That'd be awesome. Yeah, they're back here on Thursday, and I need to look at tickets because the Frost games are so much fun.
We got to keep winning back-to-back Walter Cup champs.
Absolutely.
It's time to take a breath with your Daily Bright Spot.
We got to give a shout out to all the teachers and the nurses in Minnesota because today is Teacher Appreciation Day and this week is National Nurses Week.
And there's some good giveaways for them this week, too.
Yeah, which we love to hear. And one that we love a lot, Chipotle.
I actually had it for lunch today.
Did you really?
Shocker.
I love it. Yeah, exactly. Shocker. But hey, now, unfortunately, you're not a teacher or a nurse because you didn't get a discount. But if you are, now through May 12th, Chipotle is giving away 200,000 free entree gift cards to educators and healthcare workers. And you can register at either Teacher Thanks or healthcarethanks.chipotle.com.
That's a lot of free meals. We'll take that.
I know, right? Exactly. And they're not the only ones, right?
Shake Shack, Insomnia Cookies, B-Dubs, Buffalo Wild Wings. Wow. Okay, I would go for the Insomnia Cookies because like a sweet treat.
I haven't had an Insomnia cookie in so long, but they really are so good.
Shake Shack's good too.
Yeah, I haven't. Same as Shake Shack.
Like a burger and a shake. That's like American pastime lunch, right?
Yeah, right. Perfect for the teachers and the nurses out there. Well, yes. Thank you for all you do, teachers and nurses. We wouldn't be here without you.
Absolutely.
Truly.
Some free treats.
Absolutely. Okay. Thanks for joining us here on 4 Things to Know with Johnny Connor. I'm Maria Lisignoli, and we're here with the news you need every weekday afternoon by 3 o'clock.
Listen to 4 Things to Know, a WCCO daily news podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
Love podcasts? Love Minnesota?
Check out the WCCO podcast studio lineup.
Hear the top stories of the day with 4 Things to Know.
Discover top female athletes and teams from around the state on women in sports.
Dive into stories about faith and belief, from your local leaders to your neighbors next door, with Bigger Than Belief.
Stay in the know on the go with the WCCO podcast studio. Go to WCCO.com/podcasts.